What is up, everybody? To Overseer today. So apparently, there's a big new controversy with Jim Ryan, the CEO of PlayStation, or head of PlayStation, whatever his position is or title is. So he got in some hot water because this interview he had and said that hey, that people in the Middle East people had never played games before a PlayStation in the Middle East. Caused a big controversy with Middle Eastern gamers because they said, hey, like this guy says, wrong, Jim. We in the Middle East have been playing video games since the 80s. We have had Atari, NES, Sega Genesis, and the rest of the gaming consoles. Saying people in the Middle East had never played video games before PlayStation shows how out of touch these people are with reality. So, yeah. It's like apparently he doesn't know that his company has been selling games or selling systems in the Middle East. Like, how do you not know that if you work for the company as the high position he has at the company? Like, okay, so apparently he think he's the one, like he's like Santa Claus just delivering the PlayStations to the Middle East. I don't know. This is a crazy quote right here, but yeah, people were not happy about that quote whatsoever. Don't be surprised, Jim is completely out of touch with reality, as most ponies are. This is absolute BS. If I were you guys, I'd literally play on anything but PlayStation. Jim should never go to interviews. He's always ends up saying the completely wrong things. I am born. My brother has an Atari device, and I own a Game Boy too. Jim is a good business, but but he should consider not doing interviews in the future. Very wrong about Russian market too. What do you say about the Russian market? What do you say there too? Okay, he said Russia had a tiny gaming industry before PlayStation. Okay, so he pretty much said they had no games either, aside PlayStation. Okay, let's see. The guy doesn't know much about the industry. It shows as much every time he opens his mouth to make a statement. Out of curiosity, how is the gaming market over there? Any changes to games like how Germany banned the swastika until recently, or how Australia alright banned games like Manhunt? Yeah. PlayStation and Out of Reality. Yeah, it sounds about right to me. Who remembers the Polystation? I don't know what that is. Apparently, it was like a bootleg PlayStation. I don't know what that could be. It's staggering how little he seems of know or understand of the industry, and yet he is in charge of PlayStation as a whole. Jim Ryan is PlayStation's Don Magic. Have been saying this ever since he allowed out people not wanting to play old games. Okay, so like the Scooby Doo cartoon where he takes the mask off Jim Ryan. Oh, Jim Ryan's mask and finds Don Magic. Okay. Middle East has games, but wasn't what cultural thing. PlayStation came in and gave them a whole culture of games they never had. LOL, people are read too much into his comments. LOL. So what is this? People had never played games before PlayStation in the Middle East. That was like they showed the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. I don't know what this is. It could be a gaming PC. I don't know what this is. The Sega Genesis or Mega Drive and other places. Gaming PC. I have no idea what this is. Is this the any? I don't know what this is right here. And this is the Atari 26, the Atari system. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure they played games before PlayStation arrived. Okay. So yeah, that's that one. Let's see. There's another one too with this guy. He's someone too. Middle East people had never played games before PlayStation in the Middle East. We had net cafes and arcades and NES ROM hacks same time as the West did. We just bought crap games and polystations because you wouldn't sell it to us. Okay. A scene from the Kawachi series in 1983, and they played Atari games. Okay. Yeah, so it's clearly they had video games before PlayStation. In Egypt, the word for video game was Atari, just like tissue is Kleenex. Never had any gaming culture. Visit a net cafe in the Middle East and try to find that kind of energy anywhere else in the world. They're truly special places. Try to find that kind of energy anywhere else in the world. Philippines says hello. Here's a liquid cooler system. Yeah, this is kind of crazy right here. This is pretty intense right here. Let's see. This is so funny to me because I can definitely attest to the existence of cracked Nintendo ROMs and gray market consoles in China circa 2007, so I always assume other countries were the same. I've been to a few of their press conferences here. Every time they mention that the Middle East is one of the biggest markets, what on earth is he on about? Wow. So he says when they have a press conference, they're like the Middle East is one of the biggest markets, but in his interview he said like there's barely any market there. So two definitely conflicting, contradictory statements that these Sony guys are making. Like it's just pretty insane, to be honest. Dear Jim Ryan, explain this. What is this? Samurai Showdown. Oh, these are video game magazines with in Arabic, I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so obviously they had video games before PlayStations. What are you trying to prove with this picture right here? Given how poor his knowledge of the Middle East is, he probably won't be able to identify the Arabic alphabet in these pictures. That's pure ignorance right there. What a pleasant person to be around. Reading the article, felt like I came out of a cave and suddenly understood the world. Also, he knows my red Game Boy Color. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, both yeah, but that doesn't fit the white savior narrative. I was kind of feeling like he was getting at that too, to be honest, but I didn't want to mention that. That's why I said Santa Claus. I was kind of feeling like he just said like, hey, I gave all you people PlayStations, and now you have the greatness of PlayStation now, but you didn't have any of this game stuff before I came. That's what it kind of felt like he was kind of saying with that, but okay. I'm glad he touched on it. Can't you and 1,000 people in the comments just agree that he came down from the mountain one day and person gave you all a PS1 in 1995? Yeah, it kind of seems like he's making that kind of comparison at that point. Oh boy, does Jim Ryan not know about the popularity of the MSX Sakir or the Genesis Mega Drive in the region? Wish he understood how big Jackie Chan's Stuntmaster and Crash Bandicoot were in the Middle East. Pepsi Man as well, LMAO. No gaming culture. Kuwait had the first ever Arabicized gaming system, Sakir, based on the MSX, and that was in the 80s, and it was all the hype. This Russia, oh dear. Tetris was born in Moscow, Russia. Scientists, so Tetris was actually made in Russia. Okay, interesting. I have played thousands, if not hundreds, of Japanese, Western, and even Far Eastern games. Original games, not pirate games, and are also available. MSX is available in Arabic as well. Furthermore, this game had been the first original Arabic game made in Iraq in the 90s, demonstrating that game development was not entirely new to the MENA region. Okay. It seems Jim Ryan knows nothing about Middle East because I remember back in the 90s, Sega Genesis was so popular in my country, Iran. Also, PC gaming peaked between 2000 and 2006. Yeah, so Jim Ryan, so you know what he's talking about. Yeah, this is pretty funny. He's wrong about Russia too. So I assume the whole thing is just misinformed AF. So he's just apparently wrong about everybody. My high school friends thought I was crazy when I told them about my summer trip to Pakistan, where there was an arcade with Street Fighter 2, where characters could throw bombs and you could change characters in the middle of a match in the start button. Learned about ROM hacks years later. All my Middle Eastern buddies from school in Germany came back after their summer vacations with brand new cracked games, cheap modules, and bootleg VHS tapes. It was the best. I went to Croatia with my grandparents. We only bought back ham and cheap booze and cigarettes. Okay. As a Spanish person, I was raised playing SNES and Mega Drive, so I also have to disagree. Also, the whole thing sounds look, we brought civilization to all these places, and I'm just tired. Oh man, the tiny gaming industry in Russia. He has not heard of Tetris. They haven't even heard of Dindy. I grew up with Atari 2600, Omega, and MSX. I remember purchasing Castle Excellent Game and Eid Alpha in the late 80s. Yeah, this was way before my time in the 80s. Yeah, I wasn't even born then. Yep, I remember paying $1 worth of Toman and Estefan. I ran to play Sonic for 30 minutes in a small shop. The place only had one CRT TV with a Sega plugged. Also remember buying burnt games that came from Malaysia for about $2 each. I sell the copies with the printed sleeves. So yeah, so the just this Jim Bryan is just making these crazy statements, all these interviews, these two different contradictory statements at that, because like the other post said, like apparently when they go to the Middle East to talk about video games, they say like, hey, you have one of the biggest markets, but then on the flip side, when they do interviews here, they say like the Middle East don't have that big of a market. So which one is it, Jim? Which one is it? Like, jeez. And they say he was wrong about Russia too. Like come on, man, this guy is completely this guy. Like, if you're running this company, you're running the head of PlayStation, you should know the company better than us. Like, this is getting ridiculous at this point. So, I don't know. Definitely gonna see your thoughts about this down below. This caused some controversy in the gaming circles. People were talking about this whole quote that Jim Ryan made. Jim Ryan's been getting in trouble with a lot of these quotes he's been making. One about the whole him reaching like 100 million gamers, and the PlayStation ain't doing it. The regular PS console ain't doing it. He's been a lot of controversy with this guy lately. So. Definitely want to see your thoughts down below. Leave a like this video. As always, thanks for watching, and peace.